My name is Zafar, and I represent Baloch Human Rights Council of Canada, BHRC, which was founded in 2008 in August. It's a London-based international Baloch Human Rights Council to raise a profile on Baloch human rights, gross human rights violations being committed in the Pakistani area of Balochistan, in the Iranian Balochistan, and elsewhere. And I would like to congratulate the Ahwazi Arabs on their successful struggle, the 20th anniversary of their organization, on behalf of the Baloch people of Pakistan and Iran, and Baloch Human Rights Council of Canada. I would like to, it's a good opportunity, I'm so thankful that I'm given this opportunity to share with you some of the events, the current events that are happening and taking place in the Pakistani occupied Balochistan. Our story goes back a long time. We were an independent nation and we had our own state for 700 years. And for the last British period in 1839, when the British colonial expansion came into these parts of the world, in West Asia and South Asia, we were occupied, forcefully occupied by the British in 1839, and since then there were a turn of events. But at the same time, we had our treaties and agreements with the British that when they leave, because they wanted to use Balochistan as a springboard against the Afghanistan occupation, and they had 3 wars, which were the first, second, and the third war in Afghanistan. They wanted to secure Afghanistan from the Tsar, the Russian influence, and they wanted to keep it as a buffer zone. And that is the reason why the Balochistan was occupied for that long. But through the agreements and treaties of our own, the government of Balochistan at that time, it was a monarchy, of course, and we had our agreements that when the British left, they would leave us again as an independent nation. They left in 1947, after whatever happened, the World War II. And we, as Baloch nation in Pakistani Balochistan, we enjoyed freedom for 1 year only. From 11th of August, 1 year at least, yeah. So when India was divided, it was a colonial conspiracy to found and form Pakistan at that time. We were never a part of the Indian subcontinent. We were an independent nation, and when the British were leaving, and they wanted to divide India and found Pakistan because of their own interests, colonial interests. At that time, the agreements done with the Baloch at that time, they had to honor it. So 11th of August, Balochistan became an independent nation. And that was reported in New York Times, and we have all those reports with us. 14th of August, Pakistan was founded as an independent nation. 15th of August, India was announced as an independent nation. So when the British were leaving, there were 3 independent nations in that region, not just 2. That's very important historical fact. Exactly a year later, in 1948, 27th of March, Pakistani forces entered into Balochistan. They occupied it by brutal military force, and since then, we are an occupied nation and we are a part of Pakistan by force. And since then, we had been through several different stages of struggle, of national independence, national liberation. So far, we have fought 5 battles with the state of Pakistan and its army. We went through democratic changes in Pakistan that were happening, the parliamentarian, the peaceful ways of achieving our national rights. We went through that also. But as you know, like in the 60 years of the statehood of Pakistan, half of the time there were military dictators. Only 30 years, maybe less, there were civilian governments, or elected governments as you can call them. And during that time, people of Balochistan, they elected their own provincial parliament. They came into power in their province. And through the peaceful means of parliamentary struggle, they forwarded and they wanted to achieve their national rights. But as we know it, that the power that wants to plunder and has the military power and the force to plunder and occupy, to kill people, to plunder the natural resources of the people of Balochistan, to stop their socio-economic development, to deny them their rights to speak their language and to express their culture, they had different designs for us. So through different phases of struggle, today we are fighting the 5th national liberation struggle, armed struggle in Pakistan, in the Balochistan area. And until now, since 2004, this struggle has begun against the Pakistani army and the occupied forces and the military of Pakistan. 8,000 of Baloch youth, political workers, activists, human rights workers have been disappeared forcefully. Most of them were tortured and killed in the prisons. Some of them were targeted openly on the streets. Our leaders were assassinated, captured, and at the same time, out of 8,000, I would say that 141 women have disappeared. The youngest child who was taken away by the spy agencies and the military intelligence agencies was 13 years old. And since then, nobody knows where he is. The reason why we are going through all that, and the reason why all the oppressed nations and people of the world are going through these kinds of human rights violations, is because of two reasons that we experience, and that's how we share it with each other. We have been denied our statehood.
Yes.
We are a people who have a history, who are a nation, but we don't have a state. The reason is because of the colonial structure, the setup that was brought up into the international marketing forces and whatever. We are a very wealthy nation. We have all the natural resources. Balochistan is 44% of the land mass of Pakistan. The richest province in terms of gas, oil, the gold deposits and the copper deposits in Pakistan, in Balochistan area, is the 4th largest in the world. And they want to plunder it completely, take it away from the people, without giving anything to us. And that is one reason why they want to keep us as an enslaved nation. The other reason is because of their military designs. All the nuclear tests in Pakistan were done in Balochistan. And because of that, we have a kind of an environmental disaster going on in Balochistan. Then all the missiles they have bought from North Korea or China have been tested in Balochistan. So for the two reasons, to plunder the natural resources and to develop the military complex, the military might over there, experimenting the latest weapons over there, to build up the military and to expand, to destabilize and terrorize the whole region against, for example, they are training Taliban from Pakistan, sending them into Afghanistan. They are training the jihadist groups in Balochistan and Pakistan area, in the frontier provinces, and sending them to Kashmir in India to destabilize all the region. So these are the designs and the reasons why Balochistan people right now are suffering. And the national independence of Baloch people is the only way out, and it is the only solution that can bring about peace in the region. So our independence is not just a Baloch matter, a matter of Baloch nation. It's a matter of international importance. If we defeat this army, which is a terrorist army, which is a terrorist state, we are going to defeat the international terrorist links and setups over there and bring about peace not only in the region, in Balochistan, but also peace to the world. Thank you so much.